The Ridgeline has been holding the title of the market's most unique pickup for years, and while it has never been the best seller, its sales have been stable without bigger amplitudes. But things started to change a bit in the last year in the way that figures are down and the market shows less interest in Honda's pickup than ever before. We did some research and found out that the Honda Ridgeline is not selling for these 6 shocking reasons. Let's have a closer look. Number 6. Aging design. Many things determine sales numbers, and one of them is the overall freshness of a certain model. Well, the problem is that the current generation Ridgeline is no spring chicken. It's been around since 2017, and even though the Japanese automaker did a mid-cycle refresh a couple of years ago, which made the pickup look notably more attractive than before, it's hard to hide years anymore. Because while all of this is happening for the Ridgeline, every other classmate received a redesign. The Ridgeline, although with an impressive chassis and suspension setup, doesn't have style that could inspire. Instead, it looks mild, free of any bold design solutions. That's a bit of a shame because under that sheet metal, the Ridgeline hides a well-balanced chassis and suspension setup that ensures class-leading ride quality with precise and engaging handling, but also with smooth and comfortable overall ride. The same problem persists with the interior design. No one can deny the Ridgeline's quality. That cabin's spacious with a really nice selection of materials and good overall build quality, but it also looks older than the cabins of key competitors, even though its interior build quality is probably on a much higher level. Number 5. Limited off-road potential. With its unibody construction, the Ridgeline dominates the segment with unparalleled ride quality. Simply, no body-on-frame truck can get even close in terms of ride smoothness, steering precision, and overall on-road manners. But as much as refined on the road it comes with a big compromise when it comes to off-roading. Simply, it's not meant for that kind of use. For example, the ground clearance is just 7.9 inches, notably lower compared to traditional body-on-frame trucks. The Ridgeline features rather all-wheel drive than four-wheel drive, while you can also notice the obvious lack of goodies like low-range gearing, locking differential, and all other features you'd normally expect to find in mid-sized trucks. Honda tried to address this issue a few years ago when it introduced the Trail Sport trim with upgraded suspension, underbody protection, all-terrain tires, and a few more extra features. But even this is enough for no more than mild off-roading. For all of you looking for something more capable for a genuine rock crawler or desert runner, the body-on-frame competition still remains significantly better with their super capable variants such as the Rubicon, TRD Pro, or ZR2. The Ridgeline simply isn't in the same league, and we're pretty sure that one of the reasons for lower sales is that off-road enthusiasts would rather look for something else, something more rugged and capable. Number 4. Cheaper alternatives. For a long time, the Ridgeline was enjoying its status of being one of a kind with its unibody construction and crossover-based design. No other truck on the market was able to deliver the same level of comfort and driving engagement, but things started to change in the last few years. The midsize segment is still mostly about body-on-frame, but what threatens to change the order is the reinvented compact pickup segment. Hyundai introduced the Santa Cruz, and Ford came up with the Maverick, both unibody pickups that may not be as refined as the Ridgeline, but have their own qualities. The biggest quality is certainly the price of these models, which is noticeably lower compared to Honda's pickup. Both trucks start at way under $30,000, which is significantly less money than you'd normally have to pay for a Honda unibody pickup. Of course, these are nowhere near as refined as the Ridgeline. Their ride quality is not as smooth, while the cabin size, performance, and similar aspects are simply not up to the Ridgeline standards. But from the perspective of an average customer, these trucks actually do the job. With their unibody construction, they're smooth enough to make a difference when compared to body-on-frame rivals, while low starting price and impressive MPG ratings alone, especially in the case of the Maverick Hybrid, are plenty enough reason to neglect all potential drawbacks. Simply, buyers would rather choose fuel efficiency and affordability than an extra dose of refinement, and that's why the Maverick is beating the Ridgeline in terms of sales and overall demand with ease. Number 3. Outdated infotainment system. Honda has never been the most prominent player on the market when it comes to the infotainment system and tech features in general. The Ridgeline's no exception, and its infotainment is actually one of the biggest deal breakers for the vast majority of potential buyers. Even though it was updated a few years ago, the Ridgeline's infotainment still lags behind key competition in key parameters. First of all, the screen features 9 inches diagonally, which isn't all that bad, but definitely feels small when compared to screens found in key rivals such as the Toyota Tacoma or Ford Ranger. It is not just about the size of the display. Honda's infotainment feels old in many other ways. For example, the graphics are not as crisp as in the case of rivals, while the response should be much quicker. The only mitigating circumstance is that the menu navigation is simple, but that probably has to do with the fact that Honda's infotainment is pretty basic and that the software is not overcrowded with features. Altogether, it looks like a generation or even two behind when compared to key competitors, but it's not like everything about it is bad. We really like the fact that the volume knob remains physical, while the fact that goodies like wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, a 7-speaker audio system, wireless charging, and tri-zone climate control are all part of the standard equipment is something to like a lot. Honda's also generous with standard safety features, as goodies like adaptive cruise control, lane departure warning, lane keep assist, blind spot monitoring, and rear cross traffic alert are all part of the standard equipment, which isn't the case with most other midsize pickup trucks on the market. Number 2. Towing capacity. With its unibody design, the Ridgeline is easily the most unique midsize pickup on the market, and the benefits of such a construction are pretty obvious. With what is essentially a crossover-based design, Honda's pickup rather acts like an SUV than a traditional body-on-frame truck. It's smooth and comfortable with precise steering and much sportier handling compared to a typical pickup truck. Essentially, it rides the same way as its closest relative does, aka the Honda Pilot. But each technical solution has positives and negatives. In the case of a unibody pickup, the key drawback is limited work potential. We already talked about the limited off-road performance, but probably even more problematic is its max towing capacity. When you look at typical numbers for the segment, we could agree that 7,000 pounds would be some kind of a gold standard, as most trucks tend to break this barrier to be considered capable. Models like the Chevy Colorado go even further and can tow up to a respectable 7,700 pounds. The Ridgeline, on the other hand, is nowhere near that. Its max towing capacity is rated at 5,000 pounds, which is much closer to compact unibody pickups, like the Maverick, which is good for around 4,000 pounds, or Santa Cruz, which equals the Ridgeline's 5,000 pounds. It really doesn't compare to typical midsize truck figures. Clearly, limited towing capacity is a deal breaker for many, but if we're about to be completely fair, 5,000 pounds isn't all that bad. That's enough to tow a variety of things such as boats, utility and travel trailers, ATVs and UTVs, horse trailers, etc. The thing is that most truck drivers don't really tow heavier loads than these, so maybe they shouldn't worry about the Ridgeline's ratings all that much, especially when considering all the benefits they get from the unibody construction. Number 1. Price. Another pretty clear reason why the Honda Ridgeline is not selling is its price, because it's perceived as an expensive truck. It starts at around $41,000, and despite the pretty long list of standard equipment, that's significantly higher compared to the starting prices of the competition. Just keep in mind that the Tacoma and Colorado, two of the most popular models in the segment, start at under $33,000, while another popular model, the Ford Ranger, starts at around $34,000. The Ridgeline comes at a noticeable extra cost, and sometimes it's not easy to justify the difference, considering that the latest iteration of these body-on-frame rivals improved a lot in terms of interior design, standard equipment, etc. Add the limiting factors like towing capacity and off-road potential, and it doesn't surprise why many potential buyers feel like Honda's overcharging. Smooth and comfortable ride is nice, but is it really worth such a massive increase? Besides high starting prices, the Ridgeline also jumps pretty quickly if you go with some of the higher trim levels. For example, the off-road oriented Trail Sport starts at over $45,000, but it's not like you can't find way more capable off-roaders in the segment for the same amount of money. The range-topping Black Edition, which is essentially nothing more than an appearance package, starts at nearly $47,000. Does it really have something unique to offer to justify the price increase, since it's not off-road capable, nor does it bring a powertrain upgrade? We're not so sure. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.